On, shall we? Let's talk about the big fight. Manny Pacquiao's advisor says Floyd Mayweather Jr. has declined to agree to terms for a penalty that would cost either man $5 million in the event of a failed drug test before or after their May 2nd mega fight. Manny requested there would be a reciprocal fine of $5 million for a failed drug test. Leonard Ellerbe, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, said Manny's camp should have had those terms negotiated in the main contract. And let me just add this note. There is a separate agreement for the United States Anti-Doping Agency to oversee drug tests before and after the fight. So, Stephen A., I'll start with you first. Whose side are you on?
Well, obviously the Mayweather camp. I think that Pacquiao's camp, particularly his manager, Leonard Ellerbe, said it best. He comes across as an absolute idiot. You've been negotiating this contract for weeks upon weeks at a time. It's been a public spectacle. You elected Bob Arum to negotiate on your behalf, and then you bring all of this stuff up after the contract has been signed. And by the way, this is something that looks incredibly incriminating to the Pacquiao camp, to be honest with you, because when you talk about requesting a $5 million penalty for a failed drug test, let me tell you something. If you fail a drug test, you've got a hell of a lot more to lose than $5 million. Contrary to what Pacquiao's camp is saying, Skip Bayless, I got on the phone with Leonard Ellerbe last night, who confirmed for me that any failed drug test automatically calls for the fight to be called off. So $5 million cap, a $5 million cap on a failed drug test is absolutely nothing. You bring, you look at this right here. Here's the deal. Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his camp, obviously for years, regardless of their denials, were essentially saying that Manny Pacquiao was juiced up. He was he was on PEDs. We all know that he sued Floyd Mayweather Jr. and ultimately that matter was settled. But that kind of stuff still resonates. So when you do something like this, it brings attention to not only what you're trying to avoid, but you're also bringing attention to it. Like, listen, he can suspect it about us. We can suspect it about him too. There's a ploy on the part of the man. I don't want to say the Manny Pacquiao camp because it's particularly his manager. Bob Arum has nothing to do with this. Manny Pacquiao has nothing to do with this because they signed the deal. The big deal has been negotiated. It's over and done with. This is about his manager, who really does come across looking like an idiot, to be quite honest with you, because it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. If you get caught with a positive drug test, the fight is off. The fight is off. So when you understand that, it makes absolutely no sense. And just so you know, Skip, I also spoke to Dan Rayfield, our boxing writer extraordinaire for ESPN last night. It didn't make much sense to him either. Certainly he wasn't speaking negatively or derogatorily about the Pacquiao camp or the Mayweather camp, but it did baffle him along with some other boxing writers that I know, because it makes absolutely no sense that they would try to bring this up now that the contract has been signed, the date has been set, both fighters are in training camp, and everybody's getting set for May 2nd. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I don't know whether it's a publicity stunt or it's just sheer idiocy, but it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever because there's a hell of a lot more to lose than $5 million in the event that a positive drug test comes up for either fighter. They both know it. It makes no sense to bring this up.
Gotcha, Stephen A. This makes perfect sense to me. I know exactly what's going on here, and this is yet another reason Manny Pacquiao will win this fight. What did Freddie Roach tell me 2-3 weeks ago? Floyd Mayweather Jr. will not win this fight before the fight the way he usually does. Manny and company are dead set on dominating Floyd and his camp publicly before the fight, the way Floyd usually dominates his poor opponent and his camp before and then during the fight. They are trying to control the pre-fight agenda and control the narrative of the fight. And this was another way for them to say, hey, turnabout is fair play here. Put your money where your mouth is, Floyd. And it left your guy, what's his name, Leonard Ellerbe, sputtering about, he's a moron, he's an idiot. Is that all you got? Come on. They are just gigging you. They're trying to get further and further into Floyd's head, and I think they scored and struck once again. And there is lingering bitterness here, as you point out, about the fact that it went on for a couple of years, that Mayweather and obviously his father and some of the other relatives in his camp publicly accused Manny of PED use. Manny was so outraged over it, he sued them, and Floyd was forced to settle in Manny's favor out of court. So now, as silly as it sounds, $5 million, and knowing Floyd, he probably accidentally lose $5 million out of his pockets while he's walking down the street
Very
every
possible.
other day.
Very possible.
I mean, yeah. What's he do? Like he's paying his chef $1,000 a meal. So this is like chicken feed money to Floyd. But it's the principle of the thing that they're just saying, oh, well, let's just put this in. $5 million, no big deal. But why won't Floyd say, oh, sure, put it in, $5 million. And I got to tell you, just in the big picture, does it make me wonder about Floyd just a little bit? Last night I couldn't help but wonder just a little bit, because obviously the quickest way to cover your tracks is to point the finger at somebody else. So Floyd's, what is he, 38 now? He's getting up there. Maybe it makes you wonder a little bit. I think it's making a lot of boxing fans wonder, why wouldn't Floyd just immediately sign off on that and say, sure, I'll give you $5 million if I roll the drug test?
Because it's already a part of the contract, not to mention the fact that USADA, the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, they both acquiesced to the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency turning over this fight. So pre-fight, post-fight, they're both going to be tested and subject to whatever penalties USADA comes up with in the event that they get tested. So they're tested positive. So the fact is that it's already a part of the contract. And by the way, Leonard Ellaby commented on this, because Leonard Ellaby is the one that gets broached with stuff like that. Floyd ain't paying attention to this stuff, neither is Manny Pacquiao, because they're the ones that have to get into the ring. Let me tell you something right now. You can sit there and talk about winning the pre-fight, all of this other stuff. The only reason why Floyd won the pre-fights for all of, the marketing leading up to his fight is because he had to promote the fight in order for it to sell. The one fight that he didn't have to do that for really was with Canelo Alvarez, all right? Even to some degree Miguel Cotto, because you had the Hispanic populace that was going to gravitate towards them. So all you saw Floyd doing was the 24/7 thing. Whereas with other fighters, whether it's going to Ghost Guerrera or Ortiz, Victor Ortiz, or anybody else, he had to go out of his way to promote the fight, to sell it. Then that's what it comes down to, because remember, it was a Mayweather promotion production. So you're trying to get as much money as you possibly can. This fight, you don't have to do that. Even though Floyd swears marketing is always required, we all know that this particular fight is going to sell itself. Manny Pacquiao and them know it as well. So when you say about desperate, who's desperate here? You already signed on the dotted line. You're going to get your money. On top of it all, you know the fight has to sell itself. So you're trying to get into Floyd Mayweather's head, because you're trying to sit there and use every tactic imaginable, because you're going to need all the help you can get, because when May 2nd comes and you step inside the MGM Grand and you're standing across from the man, it's going to be one of those moments where it's like, you see what you got yourself into, you realize what you asked for. You asked for this. You understand? I ain't want to have to do this, but you made me. It's one of those moments like my man Roy Jones Jr. had to say years ago against Montel Griffin, who was the former light heavyweight champion of the world. These are the kind of things that happen when you're sitting there and chirping. This is what's going on. So go ahead and let Manny Pacquiao use his tactics. We'll see. We shall see.
Manny is not chirping. He is attacking. And he will attack Floyd. He's going to get him out of character, out of rhythm, out of his usual fight plan. We're going to talk about Roy Jones Jr. in a little bit on this show, and how he says that Floyd's going to have to win this fight. But Stephen A., you're wrong about one thing. Trust me, Manny knew his manager was going to make a big public deal out of this. And trust me on this, now Floyd knows all about it, and I'm sure he's trying to laugh it off and shake his head, but inside his head, deep in his psyche, he knows Manny is coming for him.
Well, he knows Manny's coming for him because Manny only knows one way to fight. He comes for everybody. It didn't stop him from being put to sleep. It didn't stop him from looking like he took an extra dose of Ambien, okay? These are the kind of things that happen. So what, he's coming. He always comes. When does Manny Pacquiao not come? It doesn't matter who he's fighting. He always comes. So saying that he's coming is like saying the sky is blue. Who doesn't know that? We know Manny Pacquiao is coming. That does not mean that he won't pay a price for coming. That's the bottom line. You sit there and talk all you want. Sure, I'm sure he knew that what his manager's doing, but he ain't paying much attention to it. I'm sure Floyd is aware of it. He ain't paying much attention to it. They're the ones that have to fight. And his manager can't fight for him, and Bob Arum can't fight for him. Okay? Just like Leonard Ellaby can't fight for Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather. This is what it comes down to. I'm looking forward to it, bro. I just can't wait. I'm just mad that I got another month to go.
Hey.
That's what I'm mad about.
Yeah. What I'm happy about is Manny and company just won yet another pre-fight round of publicity. And deeper and deeper they go into Floyd's psyche. You know it, and I know it.
He's coming.
He's coming. He's coming, so he says, Stephen A. All right, so
we're coming to Vegas.
We will be there May 2nd, ladies and gentlemen, in Las Vegas, the week leading up to the fight. You do not want to miss it, or us, because this is going to be something special. Coming up next, though, we're talking NBA, NFL, more boxing, and there's a way to keep up with everything that we are debating today. Just go to Instagram, where you will find our Friday rundown. Leave your take if you'd like. Also, after the break, James Harden adds to his MVP season with a 50-point game. But guess what? Dwight Howard says he's coming. He's coming as well. What happens when he returns? We discuss it all in just a few moments. We'll be right back.